So welcome to Vision Weekend. I'm really happy to see all of you here. Vision Weekend, it's not quite Vision Weekend anymore, it's now Vision Week, and even that isn't cutting it close anymore, it is now Vision Weeks. So usually Vision Weekend is our annual member gathering in San Francisco. Now we picked up in London with some fantastic souls from all over the world, and now we're meeting you and trying to make everyone in person, Omicron, and other variants of the future permitted. All right, so a quick overview. We have all of this in the booklets. I won't spend too much time on this. There are lots of QR codes everywhere in the classes to look at the programs, look at the schedule. Many things are changing and shifting. We have a really fun schedule for you guys ahead. But just in a nutshell, this is our annual meeting. Once a year, we try to get all of our individual technical tracks together in the same room. We started at the Internet Archive at a rocket company on a ship in San Francisco last weekend. And then we all out here, and now we're continuing, I think, installed in a fantastic European castle. So thank you so much for all of you guys for coming. It's our first big Europe gathering. We had a smaller one in Berlin this summer, but this is definitely the big first one. And I think if who has been to a Foresight event before? Okay, so that's actually quite a few for the fact that we are here in Europe. So that's great. So then take the others by the hand. Foresight events are pretty out of conference style. I think this is making video. This is really on all of you guys to connect with each other across disciplines. We are setting the potato, and we're giving you some help for how to do this best. But you also know that obviously what you need best. So just feel free to just people and be yourselves this weekend. This is very much an unconference. Also, it's the holidays, right? We're very close to it. So let's have some fun and let's be merry and a bit cheerful as well. We have lots of exciting, doing shows for you throughout the day, including an airing performances and live fires, disco, and so forth. So there'll be lots of time to be yourself as well. Okay, so Jess will show you a little bit later about the chateau, and we'll share a little bit later about the beautiful place that we're all in, and the kind of fantastic juxtaposition of the past and the future, and many of the individual shows that we have available for you to experience throughout the day. All right, but just in a nutshell, it's a really fantastic play. We're really fortunate to be here with all of you guys. Thank you, Jess. Thank you for this amazing team. Thank you for all volunteers. Thanks for the Foresight team for hosting this. I felt really helpful when I arrived here today. Thank you so much. All right, already all arrived here. This is great. So this is all the logistics slide in one place. We have communications that's on the Discord server. That will be both the communication of today, but also throughout the next months, really, as we go back into our virtual silos. The big, I think, really benefit is from now that we're cross-continental is really that you get to talk also to the San Francisco folks, right? Over time, we really want to grow this into more of an international container, in which different people could be at the intersections of disciplines, but also at the intersections of nations. For the program, we have the entire weekend schedule here, and we have a pretty tight schedule today. We go back to back with different panels, where we have our individual fellows, our individual keynotes, like basically the talk bites, and that Foresight Alliance with are giving you a quick overview of their technology tree before we actually go to breakouts later today, that you will all be a technology tree in your individual technology fields and then ultimately across fields. Also, it's a bit crazy still, but we've done it already, which we tested, which trial run the entire thing last week, and it works really well. So we're really happy that we get to do this. Thank you to our amazing sponsors. We've had an influx of an amazing number of people that are really just enabling so many other of the subsidized tickets to really be here. So thank you to our really fantastic sponsors, and wouldn't have been possible without you. If you were here with the subsidized ticket, those guys are the ones that you have to thank. Accredited Unitary Fund, Teachonomics, Juburan, Forming Ventures, Tomorrow Wednesdays, German Team Labs, Taper Tool AI, Protocol Labs, 100 Plus Capital, Archain Cooperative, Belgian Tech Fund, Beta DAO, DSI Foundation, and a few more. And so thank you all so much to super aligned with you guys, and thanks. And we really feel very fortunate about what you aim us to do. Finally, contact people. I already pointed them out yesterday, but if anything on fire, we are the try and find us. You know where to find us. We have PhDs running around with a megaphone. We have people with here had special projects and talked about anything related to outreach. Finn did the testing for you, and Eric is responsible for the tech trees. We also have Alex here for the NFT Gallery. All right, so a quick word about what is Foresight Institute about. For those guys who are new to the game. Foresight, I think, does three things pretty well. We really focus on early stage, high interdisciplinary research, and we focus specifically on technical groups and biotech to reverse aging, molecular visions to control matter, computer science for intelligent operation, neurotech for human flourishing, that's a new track you'll hear all about in just a second, and space tech to further exploration. And so it's really, I think, a few of the areas where there's still a little bit of, and you'd say, there's still an undervalued opportunity for impact to be had. We do this via experiments. We have lots of different fellowship accelerators, but we also have the NFT Gallery tech trees, which is what you guys have been working on. And so we try to have different ways in which we can support people. And finally, which is the most important bit, we really build community at the intersections of different disciplines, and that's all of you guys. So thank you so much. Foresight really lives and breathes through its people, as I think already pointed out a bit yesterday. And so thank you so much for making that possible. Finally, I think one thing that I think is perhaps the best way to really introduce all of you guys to each other is by just running through our program and plan. So this is basically our annual progress report, and I think it really shows who's here from individual fields. And so I already said that we do undervalued science and tech, and this is our molecular visions. If you ever wanted to take a look at what the stream has been up to, we have an entire report going out here, but don't be fooled. This is not the entire report, because this is just a front cover. Whenever you're actually interested in what the molecular machines is doing, you can click on access the full seminar and recording, and where the Wi-Fi is working, you get redirected to entire seminar summary. So this is an invitation for me to all of you guys. Take a peek about what's happening in other fields, right? The seminar summaries are really there so that you can actually take a little bit of a deep dive into what other fields they're working on. I have a suspicion that in the next 5 to 10 years, all of these fields will be working much closer with each other, and I'm hoping that we can set the stage a little bit by having you just explore what other fields they're working on. So we have 2 years in the molecular machines track. Okay, we have 2 over there in the back. Let's see how many people we still have a few of you as the already, but they will be telling you all about that track in the session later today. So lots of exciting work coming from there. Who is in our biotech and health extension track? Okay, we have 2 here as well. That's amazing. The same thing here, we have again a progress report, and there are 2 of them lying around in the universe. Obviously, please look at the online, because there you can really see what other groups have been thoroughly up to. Again, intelligent operations, this is all about securing decentralized cooperation. Who's in this group? Okay, we have a few people there as well. Lovely. And then we have 2 new groups, space tech and neurotech, which is what we're telling a little bit about in just a second. So those are our individual interest areas. We have do lots of interdisciplinary competitions across different fields. We'll bring them back in the next year. So in addition to the virtual seminar layer and individual groups, we'll also have in-person competitions again. We have global meetups. We will tell the lit meetup. Anyone? Yes? Okay. Lovely. Okay, so we're bringing them back. The first one on January 21st in 7 different cities across the world. And finally, what I mentioned is experiment and incentivization. Who here is a Foresight fellow? Raise your hand. Okay, we have lots of you guys here in the audience. Fantastic, and we'll be hearing of you. We had accelerated projects as well. We have awarded our Feynman Prize for progress on molecular nanotechnology, and we have a few new projects coming up. One, for example, is the lab gallery that you hear about later today, which is a direct way in which people can find NFT, other scientists, and to do direct patronage to fund their work. So there's lots of individual, experiments that we're trying to do to really help you get direct funding if you work in the areas, and also help you to see how you relate, how your work relates across individual disciplines. But now we're getting to the big segue of today, which is longevity technology trees. So why are you all here? You're all here because you're working on a really fundamental part of the future. So a quick show of hands. Who has already filled out that technology tree? That is the biggest show us how fans have seen our morning, and that's very, very biggest. That is the topic of today. All right, so what are technology trees for? I can give you a little bit of an overview perhaps later or in a breakout tomorrow, but in a nutshell, you're all working on a part of the future, like on a puzzle piece, right? And you're all doing it in your individual domain. You're specialized, you should be specialized, right? This is what you guys are believing in. But as we have the house that over the next 2 years, many of the technologies become more and more relevant to each other. This is why we're having to fill out individual nodes of what you guys are working on, different capabilities that can be unlocked, and ultimately what one help needs from other fields. And so that will be the entirety of today. So in a nutshell, what we want to be doing is really over the next year or so within Foresight. So basically where we are today, we have each been in an individual technical node. Then over the next few weeks, years, we're growing individual technology trees in your area of expertise. And maybe eventually people want to incentivize and chart paths for the program. We already have people wanting to do that with setting different crypto boundaries there. So the idea really is that by creating a node, you're letting other people know what you're working on. They can then try to solve challenges that you guys are facing. And over the long run, and hopefully over the next few years, we get much more collaboration going. This is an example for all biotech that could look like. This is the one that many of you have already filled in. And this is where it really gets crazy because we've done the entire thing already in San Francisco. And so we have basically done the entire program today that we're doing today already in San Francisco with lots of individual technology slides there. Even if it's not loaded, trust me, because I literally knew with the individual nodes that the speakers have created, and we put them all out in individual trees. So we're creating different technology trees in different areas here across the field, and you'll be able to just look at them, walk through them, and add your own individual nodes to them. And then afterwards we do an integration and just see if we can already get some cross-collaboration going. So in a nutshell, technology trees are you explain what you're working on, good to people in your field so they know how to help, but especially for people across fields. So then ultimately they know how to best help you, but also for new talent to orient themselves where they can still make progress, and for new funders and to orient themselves what are individual challenges that they can take on in funding. That's why every individual technology node has down here a challenge that you want to see solved, which is what you put here. If it works well, maybe you put bounties on it, right? So this is ultimately really supposed to be a pretty action-oriented task.